Good morning, everyone. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I thought let me test the.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. बहुत बढ़िया आ रहा है, sir.
अच्छा जी, चलिए. Nice to see you, Dr. Ashok.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, let us wait for a couple of minutes. Organizers start.
Sir, shall we start the event?
I think it is 10:56. Let us wait for 3-4 minutes, right?
Okay,
So,
sir. Okay.
usually people join by 11. So let us start out at 11.
Okay, sir.
Muljan ji, can you please keep your mic mute?
हेलो
Muljan ji,
हाँ जी
mic mute कर लीजिए अपना.
ओके सर ओके ओके
I think Kavaljeet, let us start now. It's 11.
Okay, sir. Good morning to one and all present here. I, Kavaljit, feel privileged to welcome you all in the one-day online workshop on Deciphering NEP, the multidisciplinary approach, organized by Department of
You are muted, Kamaljeet.
As we all know, the new education policy replaces the previous national policy on education. The NEP provides an important opportunity to move Indian education from sorting and selecting to human development, enabling every student to develop to their maximum potential. The purpose of today's workshop is to understand the new education policy. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Tejinder Sharma, Chairperson, Department of Commerce, Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra, our keynote speaker for today's workshop. Sir, I request you to take over the event and we would be delighted with your expertise and knowledge in every way possible. Sir, please take over the event.
Thank you, Kamaljeet, for inviting me. Good morning, everyone. It is a great pleasure to see you all today morning to discuss on a very important issue on the National Education Policy 2020. As we all know that the National Education Policy has been started and it is being discussed in detail. Now it is not the time for discussion. Now it is the time for implementation, because success of any policy depends on how well it is implemented. So it is with that idea that Kurukshetra University is organizing a series of events in which the faculty members, scholars, students, and all stakeholders are being invited so that they understand the genesis of NEP 2020 and also know how they can work at their own micro environments so that we can be able to reach the fruits of the NEP 2020. I am extremely grateful to the Office of Director HRDC for giving the Department of Commerce an opportunity to organize an event in which I have been assigned the responsibility to share the views on multidisciplinary approach. To make the address little more interactive, I would share the screen and show the PPT. I hope it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Right. So we will be discussing something on deciphering NEP 2020, the multidisciplinary approach. Before we really understand the multidisciplinary approach, let us just try to have a brief overview of the background and the genesis of NEP so that we can understand the concept with little more clarity. We all know that NEP 2020 was approved by the Union Cabinet of India on 29th July 2020, and it outlines the vision of India's new education system. The new policy replaces the previous national policy on education which was instituted in 1986. So it took more than a quarter of a century to arrive at a new policy so that we could have an education system which is relevant and which is useful for the citizens of India. The policy aims to transform the education system by 2040. The vision of NEP 2020 is that we need to develop an education system which is rooted in Indian ethos and contributes directly to transforming India, that is Bharat, sustainably into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality of education to all and thereby making India a global superpower in terms of knowledge. We all know that India has been at the helm of the affairs for more than a millennium. And when we were at the helm of the affairs, India has been a knowledge-driven society. But somehow, because of the historical events, the culture of knowledge, which was vibrant and visible into not only our magnificent universities, but was a part of our daily lives, was a part of our social fabric, that had got changed. Now, if we have to rebuild a new Vishwaguru India, a new modern India, a Bharat, which deserves a place which it rightfully deserves among the League of Nations, we really need to invest in knowledge. And for this purpose, the rote learners which we were producing, the straight line thinkers which we were producing, they really need to be given an ecosystem wherein we can nurture the young minds into the human beings who can really transform India and who can take India to become a global superpower. We all know that NEP 2020 is a very inclusive document which commences from school education and also includes the higher education and key other areas. All this is already done now. Now it's a time for us to make it happen. Because today when I and you sit on this online platform, we are not here to understand NEP because a lot of events have been already held to understand the NEP. We are here basically now to join hands so that we can actually implement it. The major reforms of NEP which have been envisaged in the days to come are, firstly, we need to build upon the quality systems of universities and colleges. A new forward-looking vision for India's higher education system. The institutional restructuring and consolidation towards more holistic and interdisciplinary education. We need to provide optimal learning environment and support for our students. And the success of NEP is going to depend only on the motivated, energized, and capable faculty. Because just like a soldier fights in a war, in a classroom, the success of any course curriculum or anything only and only depends upon how motivated the teacher is and how well the teacher is actually able to discharge his duties of academic transactions. So it is basically laying a lot of emphasis on motivated, energized, and capable faculty. Also, India is a very diverse society and we need to have equity and inclusion in higher education. Teacher
Sorry
education.
to interrupt you. Sir, your slides are not moving.
Slides,
visible.
they are moving, I think so.
No, sir. First slide is visible only.
Maybe it is because of the network problem at your end, right?
Nobody is able to see the slides.
Well, it is moving. Which slide is available, visible to you?
Sir, the first slide.
The first slide?
Yes, sir.
But slides are moving at my end. Maybe because of the network problem.
Maybe,
Let
sir.
me pause the share and resume it once again. Now, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Now all slides are visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. I get the problem now. Zoom has got the issue of, say, sharing multiple, say, windows. So it was sharing only the say non-maximized window. Anyway, so the major reforms are basically to reimagine the vocational institutions and catalyzing the quality academic research in all fields in the new research foundation. We all know the say major reform which has been put forward, which has been visualized, is to achieve 50% gross enrollment ratio by 2035. We need to have a holistic multidisciplinary education wherein there is a flexibility of the subjects. We need to provide multiple entry and exit to the students, and also have a UG and PG program which is integrated with the rest of the world. Almost everywhere in the world, UG degree is a 4-year degree. We were continuing with our legacy of having a 3-year degree. So NEP 2020 basically envisages to have a degree of which is aligned to the overall international benchmarks. Also, the credit transfer and academic bank of credit has been visualized. The higher education institutions, research intensive and teaching intensive universities. कितनी हैरानी की बात है कि हम सबको कहा जाता है कि आपको क्लास पढ़ानी है, पर जब हम अपना एपीआई लिखते हैं तो उसमें सबसे ज्यादा कंपोनेंट हमारी रिसर्च का होता है जिसका इवैल्यूएशन किया जाता है. हमें कहा जाता है कि आप स्कोपस में छापिए, आप यहाँ लिखे आर्टिकल छापिए. यू सी, अब इस विडंबना को दूर करने के लिए दिस एनईपी बेसिकली is trying to divest research intensive and teaching intensive universities into 2 separate categories. And also, you know, our friends in colleges to have
Sorry for the inconvenience, participants. It is due to the network issues due to rainy weather. Meeting will be resumed soon.
hello. It seems probably my connection from the laptop that is erratic. So I have joined from the mobile phone. I hope it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Right. So once that laptop connection begins, right, we will start with the slide once again. We were discussing about the major reforms into the higher education. So there is about, say, catalyzing the quality academic research in all fields through the new research, National Research Foundation. So with all these, say, reforms in process, we are basically here to discuss something on the multidisciplinary approach. A holistic and multidisciplinary approach is about the developing an ecosystem, developing an education wherein there is a flexibility of the subjects which a student can learn. Just a minute, let me make another attempt to join from the earlier email ID. Neha, can you please assist me in this? आप जरा इधर आ जाएं.
Sure, sir, I'm coming.
Yeah, आप आ जाइए, right? So that I can continue with the session. Technical glitches keep on happening, but you know, after all, the learning and the transaction of sessions must continue to go on. You see, world is undergoing a rapid change in the knowledge landscape, and there are so many different, say, scientific, technological advances. There is, say, we are in the age of big data, we are in the age of machine learning, we are in the age of artificial intelligence. There are so many unskilled jobs around, right, worldwide, which are being taken by the machines. So there is a need for a skilled workforce, particularly who is proficient in mathematics, computer science, data science, and also has got the multidisciplinary abilities in other sciences, including the social sciences and humanities. So today's time is not a time when a person is about, say, knowing only his or her subject. Today, the person has to really know the subject, even beyond the confines of, say, his or her domain knowledge. आप इसमें जरा join करवाओ इसमें ID डाल के आप join करवाओ. So you see, आप अपने hotspot से कर दो इसको connect. I think ये जियो काम नहीं कर रहा है. You see, recently we had a very painful phase of 2020 in which there was Corona pandemic, and Corona pandemic, which was basically a medical problem, taught us that any event is not confined to only one domain, because Corona started as a virus, but it had its implications on almost every facet of our human life, be it the economy, be it the sociology, be it the psychology, be it, say, science, be it education. Every field was affected as a result of this coronavirus pandemic. So if you are a doctor and if you have to make a medicine and you develop a virus, a vaccine for the virus, that vaccine has not only to work against the, say, virus, that vaccine has to be successful into the social landscape as well. Because that virus, that vaccine was not just tested on the human subjects, that was tested in the social domains, that was tested on the political domains, that was tested in the domains of international relations. Just last week, one of my relatives had to go to USA. He had a 10 years visa, but he was stopped right at the airport just because he had taken a vaccine from another country which is not approved in United States of America. Now, that country claims the vaccine is equally potent and is working, but due to international relations, since it has not been made by that country, आप यहीं बैठ जाओ आप लोग. Hopefully we don't have any technical glitch, right? So we were talking about the coronavirus pandemic. Yes. So it is this, say, approach which will be multidisciplinary. Because if you are a doctor, then you don't just treat the patients, you need to understand the psychology and the sociology of the patients as well. Till now, we were having very little flexibility. You must have come across so many court cases wherein there are issues of equivalence, wherein there are issues of recognition of degree, wherein there are issues related to, say, whether the nomenclature of the subject studied by a student in one university is equivalent to the nomenclature of the subject studied by the student in another university. See, these are not the issues we should be talking about. We should be talking about higher domain, higher end learning, higher end skills, and we are worried about peripherals. Now, this mindset has to break. We really need to go beyond the confines, and we really need to break these compartments, watertight compartments, into a more open environment wherein there is a flexibility of learning. And this can happen only and only when we have a multidisciplinary approach. एक और चीज आपसे मैं 1 मिनट में शेयर करना चाहूंगा कि एक बार की पुरानी बात है, मैं और मेरा एक सीनियर टीचर जो कि फिलॉसफी डिपार्टमेंट से थे, एग्जाम ड्यूटी दे रहे थे इकट्ठे। तो जैसा एग्जाम ड्यूटी में होता है 3 घंटे की, थोड़ी देर बाद टीचर्स आपस में बातें शुरू कर देते हैं, तो हमने भी बातें शुरू कर दी। तो वो फिलॉसफी के टीचर थे, तो बड़े सीनियर, बहुत पुराने, अब तो रिटायर भी हो गए हैं, रिटायर हुए बहुत साल हो गए हैं। मैंने उनसे पूछा कि सर ऐसा क्या हुआ कि कुरुक्षेत्र यूनिवर्सिटी, जो कि एक संस्कृत की यूनिवर्सिटी के तौर पे बनी, फिलॉसफी जहां का कोर सब्जेक्ट होना चाहिए, आज हम देखते हैं कि उसके अंदर एडमिशन ही बहुत कम होते हैं। ऐसा क्यों हुआ? तो उस टीचर ने दिल से बात कही, कहते कि ये एक दिन में नहीं हुआ, ये धीरे धीरे होता रहा। मैंने कहा कैसे हुआ? कहते हर एक सब्जेक्ट में, चाहे पहले साइंस हो, चाहे पहले लॉ हो, चाहे पहले इकोनॉमिक्स हो, चाहे पहले लैंग्वेजेस हो, सब में फिलॉसफी का पेपर होता था। और क्या कोई अच्छा जज बिना फिलोसोफर हुए अच्छा जज बन सकता है? क्या कोई अच्छा साइंटिस्ट बिना अच्छा फिलोसोफर हुए अच्छा साइंटिस्ट बन सकता है? क्या कोई अच्छा अर्थशास्त्री बिना एक अच्छा फिलोसोफर हुए अच्छा अर्थशास्त्री बन सकता है? तो इसी भावना से फिलोसफी का पेपर सबको पढ़ाया जाता था। बट धीरे धीरे हर एक डिपार्टमेंट की अपनी अपनी बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज ने हमारा पेपर काटना शुरू कर दिया। नतीजा ये हुआ कि फिलोसफी के बिना साइंस पढ़ने वाला कैसा विद्यार्थी बनेगा, कैसा वैज्ञानिक बनेगा, कैसा अर्थशास्त्री बनेगा, कैसा शिक्षाविद बनेगा, कैसा न्यायविद बनेगा। उसी का नतीजा है कि हम एक ऐसे समाज का निर्माण कर रहे हैं जिसमें कि फिलोसफी ही नहीं है। Now, you see, we really need to revisit that ethos again. We need to have multidisciplinary approach wherein we don't just think within the confines of our subject. If we are teaching commerce, we are not just teaching commerce. We really need to teach the students about a complete life system. So this is about multidisciplinary. Multidisciplinary basically aims to develop the capabilities of human beings, the intellectual capabilities, right? The problem solving capabilities, the aesthetic capabilities, जिसमें कि हम आर्ट को अप्रिशिएट कर सके, जिसमें हम कल्चर को अप्रिशिएट कर सके, जिसमें हम अच्छे को अच्छा कह सके, right? The social aspects, the physical aspects, the emotional and the moral parts in an integrated manner. There can be so many things. अब ये रोज स्कैम होते हैं, हम देखते हैं, कभी कोई स्कैम हो जाता है, कॉमर्स वाले हमारे बड़े इंटेलिजेंट जो ब्रेन्स होते हैं वो मदद करते हैं ये स्कैम करवाने के लिए। शायद उसमें हमने एक गलती कर दी थी कि जब हमने उनको कॉमर्स पढ़ाया उसके साथ साथ ह्यूमन वैल्यूज और एथिक्स नहीं पढ़ाए। अब वक्त आया है कि when we really need to go beyond teaching only commerce and we need to teach human values, ethics, etc., so that they become complete human beings. The assessments of educational approach in undergraduate education has to integrate the humanities, arts, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We really need to go for positive learning outcomes, which include increased creativity and innovation and critical thinking, and higher order thinking capabilities, problem solving capabilities, teamwork, communication, in-depth learning, mastery of curricula across fields, etc. etc. अभी पिछले हफ्ते मैं पंजाबी यूनिवर्सिटी के डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ कॉमर्स में वाइवा ले रहा था बच्चों का। 5 ईयर का इंटीग्रेटेड एमकॉम प्रोग्राम है। तो उन स्टूडेंट से मैंने पूछा वाइवा के दौरान कि आपने 5 साल में क्या सीखा। तो लगभग 10-12 स्टूडेंट्स ने ही वो जवाब दिया। मैंने उन्हीं से ये सवाल पूछा था। बच्चों ने ये किसी ने नहीं कहा कि सर हमने स्टॉक मार्केट ऑपरेशन सीखा, हमने अकाउंट सीखा, हमने सब्जेक्ट सीखे। बच्चों ने कहा कि हमने टीम वर्क सीखा, हमने पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड सीखा, हमने स्ट्रेस मैनेजमेंट सीखा, हमने पेंडेमिक में आगे कैसे बढ़ना है ये सीखा। So basically when a student joins any educational institution, in addition to the subject, a student learns all these capabilities, and it is our moral duty and prime duty to provide an ecosystem wherein a student can understand and learn all this. We need to remove the present rigid boundaries and create new possibilities for lifelong learning. A student is not merely a student for a few years of his or her life. A student is a student for rest of his life, because if you want to do anything, you really need to learn newer and newer capabilities. Graduate level, master's level, doctoral level education in large multidisciplinary institutions is being envisaged. We have had so many very prestigious institutions, but they were concentrating only on science and technology. Now it is a time when they also need to go multidisciplinary, so that the scientists working there have an idea of the literature, philosophy, commerce, geography, etc., etc. So there is a flexibility in the curriculum, novel and engaging course options which we need to offer, and credits will be given in the bachelor degree program for the subjects if they have done from other departments also, or even through the ODL mode. अब आज बच्चे के पास ऑप्शन ही नहीं है, जैसा टीचर उसको क्लास में मिल गया उसे उसी से पढ़ना है. But we need to really have a flexibility wherein, you know, a student can choose a course, a student can choose a teacher, a student can choose an institution. So now the type of structure which is emerging, that is a degree program, is going to be 3 or 4 years duration, in which there is going to be multiple exit and entry. After completing first year, there will be certificate which can be taken by the student, and he or she can leave the education. If a student completes 4 semesters with internship, the student will be able to get the diploma, a bachelor's degree after 3 years, and a multidisciplinary bachelor degree after the end of 4 years. So a complete degree is going to be after the end of 4 years, in which the course curriculum will not be about, say, majors and minors, will not be about, say, commerce, science, arts, humanities, liberal arts, but it is going to be a mix, wherein a student gets lots and lots of ideas from almost all the subjects which influence the human life. The master's degree will be of 1 or 2 years duration. And you see another important thing which you must have seen in social media today itself. It has been notified that a student can pursue the research work and for PhD immediately after the graduation, as it is being done in the other say countries. The bachelor's program comprises of 6 or 8 semesters. So in the first 4 semesters, the breakup is that a student will have to study 3 core subjects. Say if you are studying, say, science, you will have to study 3 core subjects from respective domains, right? So within a stream, there will be domains. So first subject of the domain will remain the same in all 4 semesters. Second subject will remain the same in all 4 semesters. So we will have 3 core subjects. Then there will be 1 skill enhancement course, 1 activity or the hobby course, and ability enhancement courses. So first 4 semesters, the structure of all say bachelor programs is going to be that instead of just concentrating and loading the human minds with the core knowledge, there will be a possibility to have the credit for skill enhancement, activity, hobby. अब आज कोई बच्चा अगर किसी कल्चरल इवेंट में पार्ट लेता है तो उसे क्लासेस मिस करनी पड़ती हैं, और रादर उसे अपनी अटेंडेंस पूरी करवाने के लिए एप्लीकेशन लिखनी पड़ती है, बहुत सारा उसके मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. हम ऐसा इकोसिस्टम देना चाहते हैं एक स्टूडेंट को कि जहां पर वो अपनी स्किल एनहांसमेंट के लिए अगर वो अपने कल्चरल एक्टिविटीज में ज्वाइन करता है, एनएसएस में ज्वाइन करता है, एनसीसी में ज्वाइन करता है, कोई और हॉबी क्लासेस करता है, कोई समाज सेवा करता है, कहीं जाके इंटर्नशिप करता है, किसी एनजीओ में काम करता है, राइट, कि कोई अपने एंड पे कुछ बच्चों को पढ़ाता है, तो एटलीस्ट ऑल दैट इज अकाउंटेड फॉर एंड दैट इज recognized as a part of the formal education system. After this, in the 5th and 6th semester, there will be discipline specific subjects. There will be summer trainings for 2 months and there will be internships. Now, I am skipping the micro details of these programs because they will be discussed by the other speakers. We know it is going to be a 4-day workshop. So other speakers are going to talk more about, but basically which I want to highlight is that in this structure, you find there is a lot of flexibility in terms of what subjects a student can choose. So a student will have a multidisciplinary understanding of this. So under the NEP, the proposed program under NEP CBCS LOCF is, I'll just give you this little more details about the structure. The course content or the core subjects will be for the first 4 semesters, right? And there will be ability enhancement and skill enhancement courses, but discipline specific courses will not be there, but activity and hobby courses, they will be allowed in first 4 semesters. So when it comes to 5th and 6th semester, now the emphasis on core will be there, but it will be it will be for honors only. Otherwise, a student can pursue discipline-specific subjects and the general elective subject will be from other domains of knowledge. So if a student has a passion for music, for arts, for physical education, for social sciences, or wants to learn some other skills, right, this can be done through the general elective. Core of other subjects. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Now I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. I got a feedback that probably I'm not audible, so I just wanted to cross check, right? So you see, there will be courses on enhancing the research ability of the student. So the student will be trained about basics of research, research ethics, literature review, a little bit of statistical analysis, and motivated to do or undertake the dissertation or a thesis work and in the 8th semester. So this way, the student will have so many options to learn, and you see there will be flexibility and multidisciplinary approach. Now, I want to highlight one important point here, that please do not misinterpret multidisciplinary with interdisciplinary, right? Multidisciplinary is about, say, understanding the same concept from different perspectives, right? The same concept from different perspectives. One area, right? From another perspective as well.
उसको क्या करना होगा, रजिस्ट्रेशन के बाद अपनी वेबसाइट पर एबीसी का एक वेब पेज बनाना पड़ेगा.
इनको म्यूट करना.
उस वेब पेज में उसे अपने एबीसी बैंक की डिटेल लिखना पड़ेगा.
Interdisciplinary is when people of different disciplines, they join together and they work to solve a problem. So we want to build the people who are proficient in their subjects, but understand the perspective of other subjects as well. So this is what is the multidisciplinary approach, and the flexibility and the type of structure which has been made in the scheme, which is already into circulation now through the social media, already into public debate and discussion, right? So see, slowly we are moving towards a more open education system, a more coherent education system, a more inclusive education system, wherein a student can breathe freely, student can really know the subject from a much different depth. A lot of research in fields has been done by the people who were not from that field. Why? Because they analyze the issue from a different perspective. But when we are into a single field, we become straight line thinkers. We become the people who just have got one viewpoint or one perspective towards a problem. But multidisciplinary approach will help us in analyzing the problem, and maybe sometimes the concept studying in another discipline can solve a problem in our discipline also. For example, you know, in physics, there is a concept of entropy which is taught, right? So one physicist did his MBA in USA, and he started consumer behavior, and he analyzed that concept, and he developed a theory depending upon this. The concepts such as neuromarketing, the concepts of so many, say, different aspects, they have been borrowed from other subjects, other fields of knowledge, and they have really enriched the knowledge on consumer behavior and other subjects. Now there exists a scope for similar kind of enrichment in almost every subject. And we as teachers really need to understand this multidisciplinary approach. The problem is we have been teaching in a particular fashion, wherein we have really developed a passion for the subject which we have been teaching. But now it's a time when we need to change, when we need to bring the perspective of diverse disciplines as well into our teaching, so that we can give a more holistic picture to the students when they join our classes. When a student joins our colleges and universities, they come with the hope to learn something. They come with the hope to, say, get some perspective. And we have to carve a complete human being, right? We have not to carve the students who are very good in solving numerical problems, or who can really, say, write down pages on a particular concept of any subject, but we want thinking students, we want creative students, we want students who can really, say, contribute towards the, say, theory and the enrichment of the knowledge, and also on making things which are practically implementable. And this can come only and only when we will have a multidisciplinary approach towards, say, our education. So this was the, say, concept from my side. We all have shared so much of, say, emerging structures of education, say, the degrees which are going to come. In case there is any question, anything you want to say, please write down in the chat box. We'll be very happy to, say, discuss or exchange our viewpoints on this important aspect of multidisciplinary approach. Yes, your questions, your thoughts, your ideas, your comments. Looking forward to them, please. Please put them in the chat box.
If anyone willing to ask any question, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, please allow them to unmute.
Yes, sir, I have done that.
Good morning, sir.
Ji.
I have a question over here. It's like, yes, the new education policy has been introduced for the welfare, for the new perspective, but why the workload has been decreased? Why the number of credits has been decreased for the teachers? The same course which we discuss in, like, already we have the less time to teach the same thing. It has already been reduced in the new education policy. Isn't it that it will affect the quality of education?
Jyoti, this is a very natural question which you have asked. When you look at the scheme of the, say, undergraduate or post undergraduate only, which is there on the website of Delhi University, right? Or even our say program, if you look at it, the first question which people feel is that, sir, the number of subjects which we were to teach, that is reduced. But you are looking at only one aspect of it. Let me share the screen once again and explain to you that the number of subjects has not reduced. Okay.
No, sir, I'm not talking about only the
Just
number of subjects.
Workload, right? We'll discuss
Yes.
workload. See, here it is, right? First 2 semesters, right? Semester 1 and 2. So we have 3 core subjects. Nothing lost, right? We have ability enhancement subject, right? Again, nothing lost. Then skill enhancement, it is interdisciplinary, right? So still a workload is created for a teacher. So again, nothing is lost, right? So for first 4 semesters, I am talking about commerce. Similar provision or similar structure is there for even sciences, humanities, everywhere. So there is going to be no loss in terms of the workload for first 4 semesters, right? And when you go to the next semester, see, there is a subject called general elective subject, right? 5th and 6th semesters. Now, general elective is when your students will study other subjects. But after all, there will be students of other subjects who will be studying your subject also. So your course will become the general electives for others. So that way, if you are giving an opportunity for your students to study other subjects, students from other subjects are also going to attend your classes. So your sections will increase, your workload will be intact. Rather, for many sub-streams, that workload will increase. So there is going to be no problem as far as workload is concerned, at least in the short run. Yes, workload will decrease if a particular subject is not measuring up to the expectations of the student and student switches over to another subject. Yes, then students will desert you. But if you are teaching good, if you are able to create some value in the mind of the student and tell the student, right? And tell the student that, see, this is what is going to add value not only to your discipline, but even if you are a student of science, arts, maths, you have the possibility of, say, knowing the, learning this newer skill by studying this course. Students are going to come to you. Students are going to come to you. So workload will not increase. Workload will remain the same, right? Workload will remain the same. So as far as workload is concerned, please don't be misguided by any kind of these, say, rumors. There are going to be many rumors whenever any new change comes, right? There are rumors. But when it comes to actual implementation, please be sure that nothing of that sort is going to happen. This is a platform where excellence will survive, right? So you will be more answerable to the students, because now students are not, say, bound to study only and only the subject which you teach or the subject from you only, right? So that way we have to put in excellence and we have to put in more efforts. Rather, we can expand our domain by explaining the subjects from diverse perspectives. I hope it is clear, Jyoti.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. Any other questions, please?
So we have another question from Dr. Neeraj. It's in the chat box.
In the chat box. Okay.
Yes.
Neeraj Batish says, sir, things have been moving from specialization to super specialization. But this NEP will lead to jack of all trades and master of none. Your opinion, please. Yes, interesting observation. See, Neeraj, when we acquire the higher order thinking, it basically starts from, say, a broad perspective and finally comes over into the, say, micro level perspectives. So if we have to build specialization, we really need to teach a multidisciplinary impact of that on the to the specialist also. If we will develop a class of specialists who know only their subject but don't know anything other than their subject, then probably they will not be making solutions. which will be useful for everybody, right? They will not be making the solutions which will be useful for everybody. For example, just look at the example which I have given to you recently about the pandemic, right? So in the pandemic, if you are creating people who are good in making vaccines, but who are not good in promoting or making the vaccines known to everybody, right? Then probably that vaccine is not going to be successful, even if it is able to kill the viruses. So what this NEP does is that it does not introduce the specialization at the undergraduate level. It basically gives you a clue about different fields of knowledge, because at the undergraduate level or even at the +2 level, what mistake we did was that we started the process of, say, recruiting students into specialized programs such as IITs, IIMs, and for this purpose, students started taking coaching right from class 8. Just see the amount of pressure which those students had at that time, right? Now, this is going to be diluted. Why? Because we do not call bachelor's as a specialized program. We call bachelor's as a generalized program. So you have a generalized program at bachelor's level, but at master's level, you have specialization. Even in bachelor's program, first 4 semesters are generalists, but 5th, 6th semester and 7th and 8th semester, they will slowly move towards specialization. A student who wants to pursue research, earlier you needed to pass your masters and then pass your NET or JRF, only then you could be enrolled into those programs. But now, even after your graduation, if you have flair, you will build specialization, you will not be forced specialization. So this is a difference. In the earlier system, we were forcing a specialization to a student at an early age when a student is unable to make a decision about himself or herself. We said, no, you have opted for, say, physics, chemistry, mathematics in your +1, +2. Now you have got these 3 options only to take admission. Today we say, no, you have done your +2, it's okay. Now you have a whole bouquet of the, say, subjects available to you. Now, after this, if you develop interest in the 5th semester, develop more into that core area, right? 6th semester, develop more. 7th semester, go into research and become a specialist. So there is a greater opportunity for specialization in this event, right? But yes, it is a flexible specialization. It is not a forced specialization. I hope I have answered it, Neeraj. The next question is, Vakil says, from which session KUK is going to introduce NEP? Well, Vakil, this is being implemented in the IIHS from the current session, right? And you see, it's an evolving process, right? We are learning from every new experience. So next year, probably it is going to come into your colleges as well, right? Into your colleges as well. So hopefully by next year, you people will also be a part of this implementation of NEP process. It is good. You see, we will have a micro level pilot testing in IIHS, and we will be able to take care of the issues which are say going to create problems at a later stage. So let us see how things shape up in the days to come. Ashok Kumar says, everyone is talking about NEP. Do you think NEP is a solution to all higher education problems? What is your take on it? Well, Ashok, the point is, there was a need for change. There is a need for change, right? And you see, world had moved way ahead. Today, you see, if you go to, say, many places, you find there are no students. Why? Because students are taking admission in foreign universities. There are more than 1 lakh students who go every year paying 20 lakh rupees as a fees to the Canadian universities, to the American universities, to the Australian universities. So if your college and if my university, they have to match, they have to attract the students, we have to match with the kind of quality of education, with the kind of structures which exist in the at the global level. We can't be isolated from rest of the world. So we really need to have a change. Now, NEP is aligned towards this flexibility of teaching, this depth of teaching, which exists in the, say, foreign universities. So that way, our degrees are going to be more relevant. our students are going to be more, say, get more opportunities for, say, getting placements anywhere in the world. So this way, indeed, it is going to create lots of, say, solutions. Yes, in the short run, I agree with you. There are going to be concerns. There are going to be issues of concern. There are, because, you know, after all, you see, we have a policy, but there is a social aspect of that policy as well. There is a political aspect of that policy as well. All these are going to have their influence on implementation of the policy. Let us see how things shape up. But one thing is sure, is NEP can't be delayed and be understood. Okay, so for very important, and we really, it is an evolving process. This will lead to system which will be of benefit to everybody. Savina Paruthi has said, put a question in the chat box. Sir, the syllabus and the papers in all Haryana colleges will remain the same or different? You see, basically the structure which we have designed in our university, hopefully, you know, there will be discussions at the larger end also. So the structure is going to be very flexible, right? It is going to be very flexible, and there is going to be a lot of autonomy to the colleges to provide a particular, say, specialization. Course content will remain the same, but flexibility can be inbuilt depending upon the localized demands. Yesterday, you know, a group of, say, scholars visited our department, and we had a very open discussion on NEP. Those people were from Panipat, right? They said, sir, in our area, there is a need for, say, export management program. Now, you see, if you are living in an area where there is a lot of, say, possibility of export oriented units, you can design a tailor-made program, teach the students, and claim the credit into a larger degree program. So this way, this flexibility is going to be there, which will provide opportunities to cater to the customized needs of the students, to the needs of the institutions. So course contents will be maybe broadly the same, but the flexibility in terms of, say, opportunities for the students, that is going to increase. Yes. Any other question?
Okay.
Yes, Rajat, you want to ask something?
No, sir.
Okay. So I suppose, you know, when there are no questions, probably, you know, the concept which we were talking about, say, we have been able to convey. It's an ongoing process, right? And you see, we all are learning every day from a new experience. And let us hope that NEP brings about a, say, new change into our education system, and we are able to build a ecosystem wherein the students as well as teachers are able to reap the benefits of this NEP 2020. So with this, I am extremely thankful to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to talk to my, say, fraternity. And I am also extremely thankful for your very interactive, say, participation into this event. We were expecting probably, you know, the now see online events are not very, very attractive, but you see, you all have been very attentive audience. We are extremely grateful for your, say, participation, and I'm sure that your inputs, which are really very valuable for us, they will be used for, say, further giving a shape to our, say, NEP 2020 in the days to come. Please do not hesitate to give in any of your comments to us on any of the platforms. We are open to listening your comments and definitely, you know, working towards, say, improving upon the implementation of the NEP 2020. Thank you all. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative session and making our participants aware about the new education policy. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Rajat to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Kaval. First of all, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable knowledge and enlighten us about deciphering new education policy, a multidisciplinary approach. Correctly said by Professor Tejinder Sharma that it is the time of implementation of new education policy because it has already been formulated. Now the time of implementation. In fact, they give various examples of a multidiscipline subject like sociology, psychology. In fact, there is already a practical implementation, but there is a lack of new education policy. Now the policy has been formulated, and beside this, they also explain the semester-wise subjects. There are some core subject, general elective subject, and research specialty and skill enhancement course. So they give the brief overview in a simple way, and they also solve the query in a simple way of the participants. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us a valuable information.
Thank you, Rajat. Before the national anthem, I request all the participants to turn on your cameras for a group photo.
I hope it's done, Kamaljeet.